Hello and welcome to a very special live stream that involves Honor joining forces with Dalí Paris to give you an exclusive behind the scenes peek at the largest private collection of artworks and bronze sculptures on the planet by one of the most celebrated artists of the 20th century and one of the most famous figures in art history. I am, of course, talking about the eccentric Spanish artist Salvador Dalí. Now, this comes during what can only be described as an extraordinary time for the world. I know we've got a lot of people tuning in from different countries. So whatever corner of the planet you are joining us from, hello, hi, I hope you're okay. And thank you for getting involved in our virtual tour. Now, just to introduce myself, in case you're wondering who I am, my name is Lucy Hedges. I am the technology editor for the Metro newspaper in the UK. I'm also a presenter for the BBC Travel Show. So it is an absolute pleasure to play host for you guys today. Okay, so why has Honor joined forces with Dalí Paris? Okay, so this collaboration is all about the important role that technology plays when it comes to connecting us to the things that we know and love, and also helping us discover and learn about arts and culture in the process. And in the middle of this coronavirus outbreak, in the midst of it, it's now more important than ever to, create meaningful interactions online that help people stay entertained. It helps people stay connected while we all safely socially distance and spend more time indoors. Now, experiencing some of the world's wonderful art and cultural experiences are just a few clicks away. And that is what this live stream is all about. Just because we're at home, that doesn't mean that we have to stop experiencing the world around us. Virtual escapism is open to everyone, and all you need is an internet connection. And that is why Honor is offering art lovers this exclusive access all areas tour or look at some of the private collection of Salvador Dali's most treasured works. Now, with over 300 original artworks by the prolific and surrealist artist, we definitely do not have time to see it all, but we will be taking a look at some of his most iconic pieces with today's visuals coming courtesy of Honor's 9X Pro smartphone. Now, as anyone who has ever tried to live stream or just stream, shoot video, take photos will attest, if you don't have the kit, if it doesn't cut it, it will ruin any online or travel experience. So I'm happy to say we are in safe hands today. We've got a great camera set up for filming, and we're filming on the 9X Pro, like I just said. It's 48 megapixel ultra clear triple camera that's shooting in HD. Pascal and I are both wearing these magic earbuds that sit comfortably in the ear. They offer great sound quality and noise cancelling, so ideal for connecting with people wherever you are. I've also got the Honor Magic Book 14 here, so when we are looking at the sculptures later, looking at the artwork on the 9X Pro's camera, I'll have the Dalí Paris website up to see the artwork on this powerful and ultralight PC. I should also mention that this partnership forms part of the recently launched Honor Academy program. So this is all about the brand teaming up with multiple online learning platforms and cultural institutions to help young people learn new skills that are inspired by art, technology and culture, and to ultimately, improve and bolster their lives through learning and technology, with the idea being to bring knowledge, new skills, creativity, and most importantly, fun to everyday life. Now, this live stream has never been done before. Dalí Paris is currently closed. So, we really are quite lucky to get this behind the scenes tour. This really is a completely exclusive experience. So on that note, I think maybe we should kick things off. So while I am tuning in from the confines of my living room, not very glamorous at all, my guests are tuning in from much more beautiful surroundings. So I'd like to introduce Alex Doppia, and I'd like to introduce Pascal to the virtual stage. Welcome, hello. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Alex, I know you've got a few words that you want to say, so I'm going to hand over to you. Oh, and I believe we may have dropped the connection. I've been told the connection in Dalí Paris isn't as strong as we would like it to be. Let's give them a bit, see if they can come back in. So yeah, like I said, I'm tuning in from home. These guys are tuning in from the insides of Dali Paris. Pascal is actually going to assist us on this virtual artistic journey, while Alex has just got a few words he'd like to say about the Honor Partnership. Oh, I think we might have lost them completely. Okay, well, while we try and get them back, I'm just going to kind of give you a recap of what it is that we are doing. So this fusion of art and technology basically sees Honor partnering with Dali Paris to help art fans stay connected and entertained during lockdown. Because, you know, with all of us spending a lot more time at home, it's a lot more important for us to be able to reach out to digital experiences and virtual worlds, you know, if not for just a little bit of sanity while we're all stuck indoors and socially distancing. So it's a really, really good initiative that Honor have put together, and a really fun project. It'll be interesting to see what else is part of the Honor Academy program. We still don't have, I think we have Pascal. Is he back? It's very typical. We, of course, did many rehearsals of this, or, you know, testing the connection in a typically in true live form. The internet connection is down. Okay. Pascal, are you back?
Yes.
Hello.
We're here.
Here we are.
Ooh, finally.
Welcome back, guys. Okay, yeah. Alex, I believe.
Nice to meet you. Hello, art lovers of Dali and fans of Honor. How are you? I'm Alex, the chairman of Dalí Paris, and I'm so glad to cooperate with Honor today to have the virtual museum tour with you. It's a great opportunity to provide a unique pick of Dali's artwork and
oh, I think we might have lost Alex again. I think we have. So I think what Alex, you know, one of the things he is going to touch upon is that the collaboration between Dalí Paris and
Honor would continue to bring more tech and surprise to art lovers.
So we are really sorry. We made a rehearsal and it was working for almost 2 hours. And now for the next 10 minutes, past 10 minutes, we are shutting down every single minute. But yeah, I'm sure it will be okay. It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Yes, positive energy. Yeah, exactly. That is part and parcel of a live stream. Yes, well, thank you, Alex. Thank you for those words. I know we missed a little bit because you guys are offline, but I think just to reiterate, it's about the importance of this fusion of art and technology, bringing them together and creating a platform that enables people to enjoy experiences that they might not otherwise have the chance to experience because we're all at home, or, you know, we don't live in France or other parts of the world where these amazing cultural experiences are available. So Alex, thank you so much. I know you're not joining us for the tour, but thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I will recap again just because, you know, we lost a bit of the feed. So, you know, this collaboration of art and technology, it's all about Honor partnering with Dali Paris to help fans stay connected and entertained during lockdown. It's a rather applaudable attempt to keep your artistic and cultural spirits alive, basically. And technology plays a huge role in that, and connecting us to the things that we know and love, but also to help us discover new things as well, which is what we're about to do. Now, like I said, this has never, ever been done before. I wish I was there experiencing all of this firsthand, but that is the beauty of technology. It allows us to connect to experiences that we might not ever had a chance to see. So Pascal, I'm going to stop talking. I have been doing a lot of that. Just going to give you an intro. You know, I'm going to hand over to a man who 5 years ago set up an art gallery specializing in showcasing the work of a young and emerging artist. He joined Dalí Paris almost 2 years ago and has been responsible for using technology to transform the visitor experience. You know, this guy really knows his stuff. So I'm now going to hand over to Pascal, who's going to take us on our virtual tour and give you an idea of what you can see in the museum. Pascal, it's all yours.
Thank you, Letty, for the introduction. So much pressure on my shoulder. Just to give you an idea, if you were outside, we are located in Montmartre, the famous village on the top of the hill, and surrounded by an artistic history, a very strong artistic history. You know, Pablo Picasso was living and working here, but also Toulouse-Lautrec, Utrillo, as well as Dali. So that's the reason why for almost 3 decades now, we are located here, showcasing, as you told, um, 300 plus unique artwork of Dali. Um, I'm really glad to be here because it's interesting to have this partnership with Honor, because we are really into technology here. Actually, we have been renovated, totally renovated 2 years ago, and we decided to, after reopening, to create a visitor's experience using technology. So it's a pleasure and an honor to work with Honor. We're gonna see how the 9X Pro is working perfectly to see how beautiful the sculptures are. But we are also working with French startups such as Escapade, which provides a guided tour on your phone through an app, and also Skyboy, which is using overlap reality to enhance the visitor's experience. I'm not gonna demonstrate it tonight, but as a premiere, I can tell you that for the reopening on next June 10th, we are going to showcase around 30 films made in exclusivity with the prestigious design school called French design school called Les Gobelins, and the students made motion design films that you will be you can see on your smartphone by flashing a QR code, and then the sculpture become alive on your 9X Pro or any on our phone.
Yeah, well, that's it. So it's a really exciting time for you.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, we are missing you, and we really want to welcome you again. So within few days, it will be possible. But
Very,
actually, during the lockdown, we clearly make a big a big jump in terms of technology and making possible to visit the museum from your sofa. Actually, the idea at the beginning was how to promote the museum before, then to make the visitor experience amazing, and the way people can promote Dalí Paris after the visit. But it's now an evidence that we need to be able to visit a museum from your own place and to visit it really when you are in the town.
Well, I think now more than ever, it's been kind of shone a light on how important it is for technology to enable us to connect with different experiences. And I think it's really admirable and applaudable that Dalí Paris has taken the time to build a digital platform that will enable people to connect with the content and the artwork and the sculptures inside the museum. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I know it has been freezing again. So let's dive into Dalí's universe.
Let's go.
You can have a look at.
So we have lost signal again. I promised you earlier, guys, that there was a decent signal inside Dalí Paris. We just seem to be experiencing a few technical difficulties at the moment. Like I said at the beginning, and I have said it a couple of times, we're shooting on the 9X Pro. Oh, I think we're back. Here we go.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to talk about Dream, and actually, currently it's a nightmare. But it's not due to our phone. It's really due to our Wi-Fi, our public Wi-Fi, which is not working tonight. I don't know why, because probably it was not working for months now.
It's a bit rusty.
So, let's begin the visit with the space elephant.
Okay.
Yeah, it embodies the Dalinian symbol of the elephant, created in 1946 for the paintings called The Temptation of St. Anthony. And this painting was realized when Dalí came to the US, and he was very interested in the development of new technology, and that's what represents the obelisk on the back of the elephant. You can see also that the elephant is on spider legs and has horseshoe and
Yeah.
also and bat ears. And it's a way to represent the idea you can have in a dream. Actually, when you wake up, you always have weird feelings and weird images inside, and that's what the paranoia critic method is supposed to be. It's an objectification of the dreams.
Mm,
But these elephants represent actually robustness, but also fragility. That's the reason
mhm.
why the legs are so
The
small. The small
legs.
the
Yeah.
legs there are some kind of expression of the desire. You know, you want to have everything. That's the reason why they are really, really big, but
Mm,
it's always very fragile. So they are so thin. And
wow.
you can see there is an axis between earth and heaven. So that the idea always in Dali's work, you have different layers of lecture,
Mm,
and clearly here there is an idea of what is afterlife and how to be to go upper in our reflection.
yeah. I love it's a beautiful piece, but I just love the how abstract it is. You know, like you said, there are so many layers to the
Mm.
meaning of this piece. So we're very glad you're here to take us through that. And you know, the visuals look really good as well. We're shooting on the 9X Pro. Everything looks quite clear and punchy. The color, the yellow, that's beautiful. Looks really good.
Yes.
And no
Even I
distortion.
I'm good looking on the 9X Pro. Isn't it
Oh,
amazing?
I'm sure you're good looking without the 9X Pro. Be quiet. It's a bit of a shame actually that on the website we can't make the image full size because it'd be really good to take advantage of the Magic Book 14's 14-inch screen. But hey ho, it still looks good anyway. Now Dali is known for his assortment of striking, bizarre, and some might say controversial imagery in his work. And as someone who has surpassed the boundaries of traditional art. So, for people who aren't familiar with Salvador Dali's work, can you tell us a bit more about him?
Yeah, it's important to know Dali's story to understand why he was so controversial and tried to be famous. He was born in 1904 in Spain, and actually he was born just a few months after the death of his brother, called Salvador as well, and his
Mm.
father was called Salvador. So there were three Salvadors in the
That must have been
family.
confusing.
Yes, but it also looks like the Holy Trinity, and
Mm,
Dali was born with the idea that he has to become famous and become immortal in order to to go on with the life of his brother. You know, it's
mhm,
like the story of Castor and Pollux. So that's the reason why he was very into being unique, and actually he went to the fine art school in Madrid, but he never graduated because he had a high esteem of himself and was considering that the teachers were not able to judge his art.
wow.
Afterwards, he joined the surrealistic movement and become famous. I also say that surrealism, it's me. But to be honest, we have a lot of of interview of news of Dali, who say that actually he was introverted. Dali was a character he played, and in the real life, Salvador was much more introverted and very very nice and gentle, not the media monster we know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that you use the word introvert to describe him, or that he was an introvert, because based on everything I know and have read about this man, that is definitely not a word I would associate with him. So it's really interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sculpture number two.
Yeah, let's go to
Let's do it.
see one of the, I'm turning the camera, one of Dali's favorite character. You can see here, it's the illustration he made for the book of Lewis Carroll. And here you can see the whole sculpture, Alice in Wonderland. It's very interesting because
Beautiful.
it's an eternal young girl. She doesn't want to grow up, but actually, in this sculpture, you can see the three ages. First of all, Alice is playing with a jump rope, so
Mhm.
it's clear the sign that she's a child, but she has an amazing female body, and she's wearing a dress that symbolizes the femininity, and
Mhm.
also her head and her hands turn into blossoming rose. So it means that she's really a child into adult body. But
Mhm.
the most interesting is the crutch here. The crutch that represents the third age, and she's
Yes.
she doesn't want to see her aging. That's the reason why she turned her head on the opposite side in order to remain the child she wants to be.
Yeah, I think for some of us, not wanting to see our age is something we can relate to. But just I want to just talk about the quality again of the 9X Pro. It looks really good. You know, there's obviously a lot of detail
Yeah.
in this sculpture. You know, from the head that's blossoming, from the face. You know, and it's really picking up all that intricate detail. It looks really good. And it's one of my favorite childhood characters as well. So I'm really happy that you picked this piece. And for the guys watching, in case you're wondering, on the other side of the lens, Pascal is staring at a 6.6-inch display. So when you are filming, it's really, I think it's quite good to have a decent screen real estate, a decent screen size, and in order to be able to see everything. So it's quite handy for you to be able to film, Pascal, when you're using the rear cameras. So thank you.
And actually, I plan to use a stabilizer in order
Mm-hmm.
to film the visit. And actually, the camera is so good that I feel like I'm filming
Ah, and we seem to have lost connection again. Let's see if he's going to come back. Like I mentioned earlier, just to anyone who is tuning in now and missed the beginning, unfortunately, the Wi-Fi isn't as great as we'd like.
yeah,
Um,
but I'm back.
he's back. He's back.
Yeah,
Yay. Okay, I've got a
amazing.
question for you, Pascal. I've got a question.
Yeah.
So with over 300 pieces inside Dalí Paris, how did you decide on what to show us today?
Actually, one of those is my favorite, the last one
Mm,
we are going to see. But when I arrived there, I was not a huge Dali fan. And for me, Dali was just this guy with a Spanish accent, a big mustache, and painting melting clocks everywhere. And
yeah.
when I arrived there, I realized that he had a wide range of topics, and he was mastering all all the media. He knows how to paint, how to do
Mhm.
etching, and also, and is not the most famous, how to do sculpture. So that was really important for me to display and to show sculpture tonight. And I use different topics such as femininity,
Mhm.
childhood, dream, hallucination, but also time and technology.
Talking of
So
which, so we go on to number three.
yeah, so moving to the nobility of time. So you probably recognize the
Yes,
famous melting
I
clock.
do.
This one is a little bit different, but it's famous because the painting, the persistence of memory, was painted in 1931 and represents clocks on a table on a tree in the landscape of the childhood of Dali. So it means Portligat. So it's very arid, but you can see here that the tree is blooming. And the most interesting part is the crown on the top of the watch.
Yeah,
Generally,
where's that?
the crown of the watch symbolize the time, but here, very good idea. Yes, your beautiful watch.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to know more about it afterwards. And here the crown show that the time is mastering everything, even these two Dalinian symbol, the woman, the beauty, and
Yeah.
also the angel, which is representing hearts. So time has more power than anything. That's the reason
Hmm.
why it has to be crowned.
Yeah. And it's melting clocks. I've seen melting clocks pop up in a few of his pieces. It's something that's clearly quite a powerful, iconic image for Dali. Oh, no. We have lost Pascal again. Okay, so that's fine. While we wait for Pascal to come back, as we're on the subject of timepieces, I just want to show you this. So this is Honor's gorgeous magic watch too, but it's not the watch that I want to talk about at the minute. I will come back to that later, but it is actually the straps. Now, Honor has joined forces with Jackie Sai. He's one of the biggest names in the art and fashion world. He's the brains behind the legendary Alexander McQueen skull motif. You've probably noticed I am a huge fan of skulls, got a painting behind me. So, this I'm a real fan of this guy. And what he's done is put his stamp on this Honor Magic Watch 2 strap, and I think you'll agree it looks pretty good, don't you think, Pascal? Looks pretty snazzy. And just another great example, I think, of Honor's dedication to art and technology, and it is quite a gorgeous piece of wearable tech as well. Let's see, have we got Pascal back in the virtual room? No, not yet. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, so let's go back
You're
on the
back.
melting clock. We were
Yes,
talking about that.
yes.
Yeah, it's a symbol that was created in the persistence of the memory, and actually it represents one of the most important topic for Dali, the time. And the history says that he had the idea of the melting clocks during a dinner, seeing a camembert, the French cheese, which was melting on a plate, and it reminded him the idea of the time, but also the of moldiness and the petrifaction. So that's a whole global concept, as we say today in marketing,
Yeah.
but the time and all what time concerns.
I love that, drawing inspiration from oozing camembert. Pascal, you were offline, I think, when I was showing off the watch. So I won't go through that again for everyone, but I will bring that back into play later. So I just want to ask you a question, Pascal. Dali was considered pretty eccentric. He's a very eccentric character. You only need to look at that gravity-defying facial hair, that moustache, to know that he was a bit of a character. But like you said, it was something that he was playing. But what? Tell us a crazy story about him, because I'm sure, in fact, I know there are quite a few.
Yeah, there are plenty of crazy story. I could tell you the story about the first time he met Gala, the way he tried to seduce and succeed to seduce her, but actually he could shock the youngest, the sensitivity of the youngest. So I'm gonna give you tell you the story of a window he had to create in New York. Um, for a big shop, and he created a window during the night. All the people were standing in front of the window to have a look at it, and the day after, the responsible of the shop decided to change all the window because it was too eccentric, and people were just waiting here and not entering the shop. And when Dali discovered that, he was shocked and asked to go back to the to the real window he created.
Mm.
And as they didn't want, he just entered the window and tried to put everything back on in its place and broke
Crazy.
the glass, and everything was destroyed.
Wow.
According to him, it was better this way. It was more Dalinian. Or he was arrested by the police and has to replace the glass and accept the fact that the window has to be less Dalinian. But it's
Yeah.
really a way to show that he was eccentric, and you should better go in Dali's way.
Yeah, it's basically if you're not agreeing with him, then you're wrong,
Don't mess
basically.
with Dali.
Yeah, don't mess with Dali. Cool. Should we move on to sculpture number 4?
Yeah, I
Let's
wanted to
do
show
it.
you the surrealist Newton. Newton is very well known for the
Mhm.
discovering of the laws of gravity, and it's a symbol that Dali was very interested in technology. You know, in the 14th, when the atomic power was growing, he was wondering what he was yes, studying atomic power and everything, and he was a fan of Newton. So
Mhm.
this Newton is represented like a classical Greek sculpture. You know, he's naked, muscled, and
Mhm.
is holding a bowl that represents the falling apple, which is supposed to be the way Newton discovered the law of gravity. But as you can see as well, there is a hole
Oh, we see
in the
it.
body and also in the head. And that represents the fact that now Newton is no more a man, but just a measurement unit and the name of a law. But there is no more substance inside the beside this name, and it's not more the scientist. It's just a name right now. So
Mhm, mhm.
that's what represent wanted to Dali wanted to represent here.
Yeah, it's really interesting how he manages to put such a unique twist on things, no matter what the subject. He clearly saw the world a lot differently than other people. And I'd like, just you can imagine what was going on in this man's head. His imagination is just insane. And like we said earlier, the kind of multifaceted nature, the layers of meaning to his work is really, really quite fascinating, really interesting stuff. I think the detail of the art is beautiful as well. I think the 9X Pro is picking that up quite nicely. Um, I can't see the angle that I'm looking at right now on my laptop, but
A lot
it
of
looks
people
good.
think that Dali was always hallucinating and was doing drugs, and actually he always say that I'm not doing drugs, I am drug, and actually
Yeah,
yeah, his imagination was just fascinating.
I love that. I'm not on drugs. I am drugs. So the more sculptures we've seen, you've talked about themes, and we are seeing these recurring themes. Dreams, hallucinations, the female form, youth, childhood, melting clocks, so the insignificance of time. But what other recurring themes can you spot across his work? What other themes can we
Yeah,
look out for?
actually, there are a lot of. We already thought that with the elephant, but there are a lot of animals in Dali's work.
Mhm.
They are always representing something, and as I told you, it was fascinating by technology, but also science in general, and was
Oh, I was getting a bit too comfortable there, thinking, oh, we've been smooth sailing for quite some time. I think my thoughts might have put a bad luck spin on our live stream. We've lost Pascal again. So hopefully he can come back and talk to us about themes. There we
yeah,
go.
I'm back, and I
Ooh.
told you he was interested into technology and also
Mhm.
into psychoanalysis and Freud theory, and so you can see that there are layers here that represent the work you have to do inside to know yourself. So
Mhm.
we can say that all the t- all we can say that Dali almost studied and studied all the topic that makes human being actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting, if a little bit weird sculpture.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
should we move on?
Minotaur, and you
Should we
have
move on?
actually
Oh, sorry, go on.
Actually, on this sculpture, you have a lot of symbolism
Mhm.
with the lobster that is really sexual, but also the drawers and the mix between the female body and the animal. But
Yeah.
let's go to my favorite for many reasons, the space Venus. As you can, as I showed you for Newton, the shape is perfect. You know, it's very inspired by Greek classic antiques, and but we can see that the body is shaped into two parts,
Mhm.
reminding that the beauty of the body is impermanent, and there is a hope for renewal, symbolized by the egg. The
Mhm.
egg is also a very important symbol for Dali because it represents the opposition between soft and hard. The external layer is hard and inside
Mhm.
it's soft. It represents that the idea, the first image you can have is can be clearly different from what is inside. And you
Wow.
have also the symbol of the ants, it's the
Mhm.
meaning the perfection. And finally, the famous melting clock. And the reason why it's my favorite, it's because if you see the clock, two figures are missing, 5 and 11.
Oh yeah.
And actually, in his work, Dali always try to
Yeah, our live stream, or let's say the Dali Paris Museum's Wi-Fi, really has a knack of cutting out just when we're about to hear something crucial. I think that Pascal was about to say something along the lines of that Dali likes to
put
put
his
his
stamp.
stamp. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, to put his well, we are so coordinated to put his stamp on his artwork, and here he put his birth date because he was born on May 11th. So that's funny to see that at
Mm,
the clock represents the time and here the eternity. Uh, the stamp is in the eternal part. So
yeah.
that's the reason why I love this one. And actually, it's fun to see that it's an amazing equilibrium. And you know, it's using the lost wax process.
Hmm.
So it means that this bronze sculpture is empty inside. So it's funny because it's look very heavy, but it's
Yeah.
quite light, as I can say. But it's amazing to see that it's perfectly standing here, and that you can go here and without any problem.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated with
it really is such a beautiful piece. I can see why it's your favorite. And there are those ants again, another, like I said earlier, that recurring theme of the ants and the melting clock. It's really interesting the way that he uses these symbols across all his sculptures. So thank you for giving us that insight. That is really, really fascinating stuff. His ideas are quite extraordinary, as I think you'll all agree. I imagine that's maybe why he was and is so popular. So Pascal, I've got to ask, do you think that it's his controversial and that outrageous edge that propelled him to superstardom, that propelled him to the fame that he now doesn't experience it, but now he's facing today?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, the fact that he was controversial made him popular. But it's probably the case worldwide, but in France, it's the contrary. The fact that he was very into the media makes him not so popular, and some people are not so fan of Dali in France.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, if behind the genius, there is a lot of work. For sure, he is a media monster. He know how to communicate and was playing an amazing character. But he was mastering all the Greek classic, also the Renaissance, and
Mm-hmm.
so on, and was very into discovering, understanding the topic he was working on. So that's the reason why, according to me, he is well known as well. It was controversial, but the work he has done was really impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
can't. you can't succeed without working. It
Yeah,
doesn't exist.
of course, and Dali's definitely proven that. And which of his sculptures is considered the most bizarre?
Wow, actually, you
Oh, there's
see the
probably
middle.
more than one.
There are a lot of bizarre sculpture, but I would go and actually, as we are working with honor, to the lobster phone. It's a
That
mix.
sounds cool.
Sorry, it's a mix between a phone and a lobster. So it
I love
perfectly
it.
defines the idea that uh, object object can become something different
Mm,
within your mind, and that's funny because lobster is usually a sexual symbol.
yeah.
So, and with the color and so on, and clearly in here you can have the idea that this phone is using to call a 900 number, like an erotic chat. That's funny, you know. But actually, you don't want to use it because you can be afraid to have a lobster just near your ear. I prefer to have
Yes.
my earbuds actually.
Yeah, and my hair. Oh, so I can see why Dali is kind of considered one of the most celebrated artists of the 20th century. These sculptures are just amazing, and just what they stand for, the symbolism, the kind of multifaceted layers of meaning. It's all, there's so much to take in. So I can see why he continues to, inspire art lovers around the world today.
Yeah,
Thanks, Pascal. That was really interesting.
it was his goal to
Mm,
become eternal through his artwork, and actually I think he succeeded. He died 30 years ago, but
hmm.
I definitely think that within 200 years we will be talking about Dali as we do for Vermeer today, or other artists from 200 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, amazing stuff. Pascal, thank you so much. I wasn't lying, was I? This man knows his stuff. I think we probably could talk all night on this if we had the chance. And can I also just say, how well did these hold up? You were clear, you were concise, really held up throughout the call. So unlike the Wi-Fi, sadly.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that.
Not your fault. It is not your fault at all. I got one last question for you. Am I right by saying that the museum, it's actually opening its doors? What's the date again?
It will
Oh,
be next Wednesday
oh,
on the
right. You must
10th.
be you must be very, very excited.
Yeah,
People,
yeah. You cannot imagine we were closed for almost 3 months, and
yeah.
we are so thrilled to welcome people again, to let them discover what's new, and to make this premiere with the motion design film. It will be so exciting, and I'm looking forward to welcome you here, Lucy. When are you
Yes.
coming to
Ah,
Paris?
I look forward to that. The minute I can get on a plane, I'm there. Thank you, Pascal. I'm going to say thank you also on behalf of all our viewers. Honestly, that was really, really fascinating stuff. I really, really enjoyed that. So thank you. Now, before
No,
we
thank you.
um,
You are amazing. Thank
oh,
you so much.
thank you. Now, we've obviously come to the end of the tour, guys, but I'd just like to run through some of the Honor products just for a bit of a features recap, just so you know what Honor's working with. So what we've got here, this is the Magic Book 14. This is what I was showing all the Dali artwork on. What I love is the body makes it look more expensive than it actually is. The clue is in the name. It's got a 14-inch HD display. You've got a pop-up camera that lives in the keyboard. There you go, just like that. And the power button also doubles up as a fingerprint scanner. So there's your Magic Book 14. We've also got the Honor 9X Pro. Now this is of course the phone that we've been coming to you live at Dalí Paris from. We spoke a lot about the camera, 48 megapixels. We've got 8 megapixel super wide camera as well. But it's also got the piece de resistance, as I like to call it, the pop-up selfie camera. So it's 16 megapixels. When you want to take a selfie, just pop that up. It opens, pops up, and then retracts when you've finished. It's got a fingerprint scanner on the side. So the power button acts as a fingerprint scanner. It's all very quick, all very speedy, and quite a nice smartphone. We've also got the Magic earbuds. Now, this is what Pascal and I have been modeling throughout and using throughout the duration of this live stream. You're looking at true wireless buds. They've got active noise cancellation, so it gets rid of all that background noise, your chatty flatmate. It's a bit of a rarity among in-ear buds, so it's great that it's got that. There's the carry case, nice and compact, great sound quality. You're getting about 3.5 hours from the headphones themselves, 14.5 with the compact carry case. And then finally, I showed it off to you guys earlier. Pascal, I believe you missed this. It's the Honor Magic Watch 2. That's a really gorgeous bit of wearable tech. It's got great battery life. It's easy to operate. I've got a couple of buttons here that you easily get used to. It's got a heart rate sensor, so it's a great fitness companion. And just to mention again, those limited edition straps I mentioned earlier, this one is made in collaboration with Jackie Sai, but Honor has also partnered with equally big artists, including Giovanni Zola. So it's really quite an artsy, a beautiful, really fun collaboration that you should definitely check out on highhonor.com. So there you go. 4 products, all available on highhonor.com, which brings me on nicely to one more thing. From early June, those limited edition designs that I've been talking about on the Magic Watch 2, oh, one's fallen, are available in laptop sleeve form for the Magic Book 14. As you can tell, I'm just give you a bit of a close up. The design's really pretty, the material's really soft. I think your laptop will enjoy the ride inside one of those. So they're available early June. And if you check the Facebook comment information box, there is a limited number of vouchers for the Honor Magic Book 14. So make sure you go and check that out. And make sure you check out everything on highhonor.com if you want to look at any of the products in a bit more detail. I guess all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Thanks again to Pascal and Alex. You did an excellent job. Thank you. And wherever you guys are in the world, have a wonderful weekend. It's goodbye from us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.